Hello and welcome to the Cape Cod Maritime Museum. My name is Mary Everett-Patriquin and I'm the museum's Public Programs Coordinator. We're happy to have you with us today for this talk about Scrimshaw. We are very lucky to have a lovely collection of Scrimshaw, which came from Elizabeth H. and William Graham of East Orleans. During the 1970s, they got into the habit of giving each other a piece of Scrimshaw for birthdays, holidays, and other special occasions. So they put together quite a nice collection, and we're very fortunate to have it here at the museum. In terms of talking about Scrimshaw, we need to come up with a definition. So the first part has to do with materials. Scrimshaw is carvings from or engravings on ivory. Of course, when we think about ivory, we all think of elephant tusk, but ivory is simply a type of tooth. And there are other animals that have very large teeth. For example, sperm whales. Sperm whales are one of the very few species of whale that has teeth. I believe there are only 3 in total. Most whales have something in their mouth called baleen, which is a dark, sort of flexible, fibrous material in the front of their mouth. It's attached to the roof of their mouth. When a whale takes in seawater, it takes in all the plankton and krill and other tiny critters that they use in their diet, and that's how they manage to kind of filter out their nutrients. Sperm whales, of course, go about things in a somewhat different manner, being carnivorous. A sperm whale can have anywhere from 20 to 50 teeth, depending on the age and the size. Sperm whales only have teeth in their lower jaw. In the upper jaw, they actually have little sockets that those teeth fit up into when the whale closes its mouth. Scrimshaw is made using those teeth. It's also sometimes made from baleen, and we're going to talk more about baleen kind of at the end of things. In some cases, Scrimshaw might also be made from bone, most especially from what's called pan bone. That's the bone in the sperm whale's lower jaw. But for the most part, it's carvings of or engravings made on sperm whale tooth. The second part of the definition of Scrimshaw has to do with who made it. It's sometimes referred to as an occupational art because it was made almost exclusively by American men on whaling ships. There was Scrimshaw that was made by British sailors, some by Australian sailors. I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't some French in there too. But for the most part, it was made by American sailors on whale ships during the 19th century. In terms of the derivation of the word, no one is quite sure where it came from, and there are many variants of the word that we find in ship's logs or sailors' journals. So in addition to Scrimshaw, you might see Scrimshank, Scrimshorn, Scrimson, a whole variety of things. In terms of exactly where the term comes from, I think the most compelling argument is that it's from the British slang term scrimshank, which means to shirk or to avoid work. The earliest written reference that we have to Scrimshaw comes in 1826 from the log of the brig called By Chance, which sailed out of Dartmouth. The captain refers to no whales in sight, all men scrimshanking, so making Scrimshaw. In terms of who made Scrimshaw, really it was pretty much everyone on the ship. It was everyone from the green hands, those were people who were setting to sea on a whaler for the very first time, all the way up to the officers and the mates and the captain. So it really was, it wasn't really bounded by your kind of rank or economic status. Pretty much everyone made it. Some captains really encourage their men to make scrimshaw, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. In terms of how do you distribute the materials? Obviously, if you've got all kinds of people on the ship who are interested in making scrimshaw, ultimately it came down to your rank. So if your captain had just finished a piece of scrimshaw and was looking to start a new one, then the next time you catch a whale, he's going to get the nicest parts. If you were a green hand at the very end of the list, you might simply get a piece of pan bone or perhaps some other type of bone altogether.